Hi everyone. So I've been keeping you up to date on the Skripals story and all the stuff that's in the newspapers, or rather the stuff about the Skripals that's not necessarily in the newspapers, and that's what we need to keep our eye on. This, however, has been in the newspapers recently. 10 months, remember, after the Skripals poisoning. This was 10 months after we only just found this out, because I made a boo-boo, actually. I reported in the past that this guy, Detective Sergeant Nick Bailey, was the first person to actually stumble upon the Skripals and in their comatose state on that park bench in Salisbury. And we all said, oh, that's a stroke of luck, isn't it? Being a detective sergeant being the first one to see them. Well, as it turns out, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Detective Sergeant Nick Bailey at all. And it seems that solves the mystery as to what we were being told, that Detective Sergeant Nick Bailey was actually infected with Novichok, or Novichoked at the Skripals' home. That's one story that I saw recently that was floated. So apparently it wasn't him. It was somebody else, and we're going to go to the always excellent Moon of Alabama for this story, because they have done some brilliant work on not just the Skripals but other stories, Russiagate as well. And they say there's coincidence. So it wasn't Nick Bailey, Detective Sergeant. It was the chief nurse of British Army was the first to arrive at the Novichok's Skripal scene. The chief nurse of the British Army. On March the 4th, 2018, the British-Russian double agent Sergei Skripal wasn't a double agent. He was a British agent. He wasn't a double agent. Everybody gets that wrong. And his daughter Yulia were found incapacitated on a bench in Salisbury. The British government asserts that they were affected by a chemical poison of the so-called Novichok group. This case led to a diplomatic conflict as Britain accused Russia of an attempt to kill the Skripals. No evidence was provided by the British government to support these accusations, and the Skripals have since vanished. Yes, that's the age-old question, isn't it? Where are the Skripals? Today, an intriguing new detail of the case came to light. Spire FM, a local radio station in Salisbury, reports of a young woman, Abigail McCourt, who was given a Lifesaver Award for her involvement in the Skripal case. So that would be apparently the young lady found them on the bench, alerted her mother, and they were in the area because they were out having a family meal. And this is a colonel, a chief nurse, a colonel in the army, who's got an OBE. Fortunate, isn't it, that people walking past just happen to be a nurse trained in treating patients who have been infected with deadly diseases. I know if I ever get Novichoked, I think that would be one of my first picks to actually be the first person to find me, wouldn't you? Or the second person to find me. This article continues. In 2014, the Daily Mail reported on Colonel Alison McCourt's deployment as British mission leader to Sierra Leone, where she helped fight the highly infectious Ebola disease. This is like me going to America and coming down ill and falling unconscious on the floor with the Mataba virus, and the first person to come wandering by is Dustin Hoffman's character out of Outbreak. That's the equivalent, basically, of what we're being led to believe is true here. According to that report, McCourt is married and has 2 children. Her son must by now be 14. Apparently they were going out and they were celebrating her son's birthday in the area. I wonder if she was taking part in those, the largest ever chemical and biological weapons drills that were happening on Salisbury Plain not far from those. Finished within 24 hours of the Skripals being poisoned. And if she was taking part, and that was why she was in the area. They don't actually say that in this article there. Just a thought. Neither Colonel McCourt or her daughter were affected by the extremely dangerous Novichok. Well, if they weren't affected, it wasn't extremely dangerous, was it? 1 in 5 times it is. We always must remember, John Sturgis died as a result of this debacle. An innocent person died. But what about the other persons, her son and her husband, who were also at the scene? What were they doing? No additional information about the reports has so far came to light, say the Moon of Alabama. They continue, and actually this ties in with something I've been talking about recently. They say there are also many indications that the case is related to other British government operations. Indeed, the whole Skripal incident might well have been staged. I've led to this with the recent revelations from the dumps of the documents by Anonymous on the Integrity Initiative. Article continues. Pablo Miller, the MI6 agent who recruited, handled and befriended Sergei Skripal, also worked for Orbis Limited. Orbis is the company of the former MI6 agent Christopher Steele, who was paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign to write the dirty dossier about alleged Trump connections to Moscow. Soon after the Skripal incident happened, the British government released a D-notice that prohibited British media from further mentioning Pablo Miller's name and thereby the relation of the two cases. All of that there is 100% factually true, and none of it you will hear on the mainstream media. Now, do you not agree that the British public deserve to know this? Do you not agree that this is not putting anybody's lives in danger? This is not putting any spies' lives or their family lives in danger. This looks like a complete cock-up and a cover-up. That's what it looks like. So if you want it to not look like a cock-up and a cover-up, I suggest you actually come out and tell the truth, because what we've heard so far, pretty far from it. Long before the Skripal incident happened, an experienced Russian scholar asserted that the Steele dossier was written by someone trained by Soviet intelligence. It is thus quite possible that Sergei Skripal, the former Russian spy, was an informant or even author of the Steele dossier about Trump. This is something that we're desperate to know, whether Sergei Skripal was actually involved in the collation of the salacious allegations against Trump in that dossier. Article continues. The recently exposed British military intelligence operation Integrity Initiative has shown extensive interest in the media echo the Skripal case had in various countries. Currently, one of its papers lists Pablo Miller, the Skripal handler, as a contact of the Integrity Initiative's leader, Colonel Chris Nigel Donnelly. This is something that I've reported on other videos about the Integrity Initiative. There is additional suspicion that the Integrity Initiative, whose primary function to stoke Russophobia, was one of the brains behind the Skripal incident. The initiative was also involved in the Steele dossier and the Russophobic anti-Trump campaign. This is why, this is why I'm reading it. This is outlining why I believe all of these cases, the Skripal case, the Russiagate case, and quite possibly the Syria Duma chemical attack that turned out not to be a chemical attack, thanks to the great work of Robert Fisk and the guy from Pearson Sharp from One American News. Wouldn't be surprised if they're all linked, and it wouldn't be surprised if all roads lead back to Pablo Miller and ultimately Christopher Steele and the Integrity Initiative, because he's in the documents. Why is he there? British Ambassador Andrew Wood, a former British ambassador to Moscow, is employed by the Institute for Statecraft, a shadowy parent organisation of the Integrity Initiative funded by the Ministry of Defence and Foreign Office. It was Andrew Wood who helped to disseminate the Steele dossier to US Senator John McCain. What a hero that guy was, John McCain, great patriot to the country, wasn't a war criminal at all. McCain then gave the dossier to FBI Director James Comey. The FBI used the dossier first to get FISA warrants to spy on the Trump campaign and, after Comey was fired, to launch a counterintelligence investigation against Trump himself, all of which they are saying there all ties into the testimonies of people like Bill Binney, who has said that this is going on, and others that I have covered multiple times in other videos. They do go on to hypothesize about what could have happened here, but I'm not going to go into that because it is literally just a theory. But that is the latest. The woman who administered first aid for the Skripals, fortunately for the Skripals, just happened to be a colonel with an OBE in the British Army who was alerted to their plight by her daughter while they were out celebrating her son's birthday. And that's the story now as it is. suppose we'll see whether people laugh at it too much as to whether that story changes or not. That's usually what happens. But there you go, there's the update. I can't wait for the truth to come out about this. I really can't. I hope it eventually does. Fucking colonel in the army. A colonel. A chief nurse. With a history of treating deadly diseases. To support truly honest, independent journalism like this, please go to patreon.com/Gordon Dimmack. You can become a patron of mine for as little as $1 a month, and every dollar helps. I cannot stress that enough. We can't do this without you. Also, you can use any of the avenues on your screen right now to donate, or below. There are many of them. Please make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day, so please make sure you are, and click that bell as well so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.